Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to episode number 4 of The Sauce. Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm doing friggin' wonderful. How about yourself?
Not great. I have a lot to get off my chest this episode.
That's
Tyler
okay.
Bell alongside Andrew Mikari. We cannot thank you enough for spending your Thursday with us. We're going to do a lot of local stuff today. One, we've kind of pretty much neglected the own team coverage since episode 1, really, which is fair. I mean, we had the Frozen Frenzy. Yeah. We've had a lot going on. If history is to repeat itself, we are closing up on our mid-season finale soon, so we won't see you guys till 3 seasons from now. So we got to get some content. We got to get some content in there somewhere. On a serious note, though, we really haven't touched too much about our own teams. I know Andrew's got a lot more positives to talk about than I do, and that's why he's going to go first, because chances are a lot of angry comments are going to be made in the next 45 minutes. So, all right, Andrew, since the last time we did an episode, or since the last time we really did any type of legitimate team coverage, you've won 3 straight, 4 straight in total, if you count the first game of the Detroit home and home you had.
Yep.
A road win with Detroit 5-2, a road win with Toronto 4-1, which, as much as I am not a Ranger fan, when Toronto loses, we all win. And a 7-2 rout of the Canadians. Before we jump too much into that, Andrew, do you happen to have your phone on you?
I do.
Okay, so before we start, or before you start, I should say, you're about to get a notification on your phone.
Okay.
That I purposely waited till now to send you, because you're going to be the only one that knows why I'm sending you that. Nothing?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Well, no, I said I definitely sent it to you, and this is definitely your account because you used it as you used it 4 days ago. But all right, I'll let everybody on. I'll let everybody in on the secret. It was a $5 Venmo.
Oh, okay. I'm like, yep, there it is.
So, all right, break us down through those games.
Listen, this is gonna be the easiest little rant of my life. All things are good. Things are great. Things couldn't be better. Like you said, we beat Detroit twice, beat Toronto, beat Montreal, and none of those games were remotely close. It has been the least sweaty opening 2 weeks, two and a half weeks of my life. If I would have told you towards the end of last year that the Rangers would be the best 5v5 offensive team in hockey right now, you wouldn't have believed me. I wouldn't have believed myself, but that is where we stand. Our offense is clicking on all cylinders. Apparently, Riley Smith is the best free agent signing that could ever happen in the history of this franchise. That first line is clicking really well. Mika actually seems like he starts to care a little bit, which is very good. But that third line, which is what I said in our opening episode, that third line, she be nasty. Phil the Thrill had 2 goals last game. Capo Caco had a goal. Will Cooley had a couple assists in there. This team is currently unbeatable. I will stand by that for as long as this goes. Unbeatable.
So outscoring opponents, let's see, that's a lot of math to do. I believe 16-5 in your last 3 games.
Yep, we're first in goals per 60 while playing less games than most other teams.
So I would think now, I don't know, 16-5 is a pretty good number here. I would think offense is not an issue at the moment.
No.
Just as Deadpool would say, I'm making an educated wish on that one.
Yeah, an educated wish. We've only given up more than 2 goals twice. Which is, so defense ain't bad either.
Yeah, you've given up 2 or more goals 3 times, and you've actually only given up in the regular season. You've only given up more than 2 goals 1 time this year.
Yeah.
That
was against Utah.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Is that normally like there's better content when there's something to complain about, but there's quite literally nothing to complain about. If you want me to complain about Ryan Lindgren being healthy and now causing a little traffic jam at defense, sure. But if that's my biggest problem, I'm chilling.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Rangers are in a pretty good position, I guess. Yet to still have any type of regulation loss. Sitting top of the Metro. Now, listen, obviously, sitting at the top of the Metro 7 games into the season, 6 games into the season, not exactly usually something to pay a whole ton of mind to. But when it's building you a pretty significant gap within the division that you're in, between,
that's the thing.
That's, it's not so much the points right now. It's the fact that you have built such a gap. I mean, you look at the Pacific, Calgary. I can't believe I'm saying Calgary. Has 11 points to lead the Pacific. Everybody else around them is 9 points, 8 points, 8 points, another 8 points. Anaheim's got 7 points somehow. You go to the Central, again, everybody's bunched up 12, 10, 10, 9, 8, and then it kind of tails off.
War zone.
Everybody in all the other divisions, everybody's within a point, 2 points, in some situations, 3 points of a difference of each other. After the Rangers, the Devils, and the Capitals in the Metro, there's no legitimate
there's no one that close to us. Plus, when you look at us and the Devils, we've played 3 less games than them.
Yeah.
Then Washington's not going to stay there. So,
yeah, that's definitely a good point to consider. You have 3 games in hand on the Devils, which, listen, obviously you make those up somewhere down the road. The Devils 1 team tonight playing on a back-to-back. They're playing, I believe, Florida tonight.
They're playing Detroit tonight.
They're playing Detroit tonight, and then playing us tomorrow, being the Islanders. Washington coming off its 5th straight win last night, beating the Flyers 6-3. Pittsburgh, again, is going to always float around that 3-4 spot. And they'll always run out of gas towards the end.
Yeah, until they get taken out the pasture.
Pretty much. The one negative I can pull from anything that's happening with the Rangers, and it's positively negative, if I can make that make sense.
Okay.
All you're doing is pretty much saying, you're going to have to pay that goalie.
You know what? We will cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, we ride.
Yeah, you're not going to have much of a choice except that cross that bridge.
Yeah.
I don't think you see a regular season extension out of this.
No chance.
In my opinion, for Shesterkin to sign any type of extension, I think at this point now you'd have to blow away what his asking price is.
Yeah, no, I'm more concerned about extending Lafreniere than him.
I would agree with that. I mean, listen, you and I, most hockey fans, we would all know that the goalie market's going to have to reset eventually.
Yeah.
Guys like Shesterkin right now, they probably look at guys like Swayman and they viciously punch the air every night before they go to sleep. Swayman did that goalie market no favors.
No.
Swayman signed this. He signs a contract with a money value that justifies a goalie signing 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I remember kind of mildly panicking when Bobrovsky went to Florida and he got that $10.5 million deal.
Yeah.
7 years ago.
Yep.
I remember being like, Florida's got no income tax. If they're going to pay this guy $10 million, we're all screwed.
You're not wrong.
In a sense, though, it's taken so long for anybody else to even come close to it.
Yeah, I mean, and the market's it's even almost looking like the running back market in football. Like not as many teams are going to be willing to pay the big name goalies, and they're going to just use this platoon or just get to they're replaceable almost.
Yeah, I mean, listen, could Shesterkin be the next New York player to join the Eagles? Probably, because that's just how life seems to work for us. No, it's just, again, it's like, I don't know how. If you were to offer Shesterkin everything he was looking for right now,
yeah,
I think if you're him, how do you not turn around, look at your front office, look at Drury, and go, yeah, we're 5-0-1, and I've only let up more than 2 goals once.
Yeah,
that's a cute offer. Like it's kind of one of those, the best cases. Like, I guess you could say, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's true. I'm also noticing, though, because I'm looking at something, and I think you wouldn't know it by watching the Rangers or a couple other teams, but goal scoring is definitely down this year so far. Shesterkin has a goals against average of 1.98, and he's in 10th. Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah.
Listen, your goalie has the best GAA in the league.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get into it. Don't worry. No, goal scoring as a whole is definitely down this year. I don't think we've had any games that have been, so to speak, absolutely out of control score-wise.
There was that one on opening night, which is opening night. So what are you going to do? The Colorado game was 8. It was like 8-4 or something.
Yeah, like, it seems like pretty much if you play Utah, just buckle up, buddy. That seems to be the trend right now.
Seriously.
Looking at the last couple games, just over the last few nights, I'm going to go. I'll start with Frozen Frenzy.
Oh, I have.
By
the
way, thank you to every team who destroyed our parlay.
That was some wild hockey going on.
That was some intense stuff. Lightning took like the Lightning Devils game. Lightning won that game 8-5. The 7-2 Ranger Canadian game. Blue Jackets taking out the Maple Leafs 6-2. Even though neither one of us picked it, Toronto lost. We all won. Canucks beating the Blackhawks 6-3. I get so mad every time I look at that Islander game. I can't wait till it's my turn. Golden Knights beating the Kings 6-1. I'll go to Saturday the 19th. No crazy scores here. 6-5 in the Devil game. Pretty straightforward scores for that.
Yeah.
I remember it was super early in the season. I think like quite possibly like opening night early. Yeah, here we go. not opening night, but basically still opening week, Monday the 14th.
Okay.
The 8-7 Kings Senators overtime
Yeah.
game. That's bananas.
Absolutely bananas.
That's a bad. You have a bad time if you're a goalie.
That's a game where everyone's having a good time except the goalies.
Yeah, the goalies can't wait to get off the ice. Everybody else is like, but stat. And like, and you know, I'm looking through the score sheet here, and they were all like clean, like wrist shot, backhand, snapshot, wrist shot, snapshot, wrist shot. 2 pucks were deflected in this game for goals.
Listen, it'd be that way sometimes. The lighting in Ottawa ain't too good, I guess.
Ottawa and LA, you know, Ottawa outshot LA 41-26. There was also a ton of penalties in this game. There were a combined 11 power plays.
There was the rest on their paycheck.
There were 7 power play goals.
Oh my god. That's
awful.
Imagine you're at that game and you're just exhausted as a fan.
You know, I wish the one thing I wish when they did these report sheets, like the game summaries, is like, oh, they do it now. The game started at 1:08. The game didn't end until almost 4:00.
Oh my god.
That is awful.
That's a time right there.
Trying to look, not like it matters a ton, in all honesty, but you know, looking at stat lines and everything. Yeah, not a good night to be a goalie. Probably a pretty good night to be a ref, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're in their paychecks.
Those are the games sharp.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best way to say it. Those are the games that keep you sharp. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, listen, I you know, I've run into my fair share.
Oh, haven't we all?
You know, you can run. You know, you'll know in the first 5 minutes of a game if you're going to have a good night or not.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, not.
Yeah, I gotta go about 50-50.
Before we pivot over to a local dumpster fire, we'll pivot to the local dumpster fire. Lost the last 2 hockey games. They're sitting second in the division. With that being said, I got to be nice somehow. Okay, so let's talk about it.
I've been waiting for this.
So, did you watch what I asked you to watch?
I did.
Okay. So
I cannot wait for your analysis.
So my Detroit game on Frozen Frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safe to say, when you look at the Utah game, the Dallas game, the Colorado game, the St. Louis game, and the game versus Montreal last Saturday.
Yep.
This was probably the second best game of the season they've played since the Colorado game.
Yeah.
You outshot Detroit 30-10.
Yeah.
3 power plays.
Yeah.
Sorokin looked like a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you lose 1-0 to a team that took 10 shots.
Islanders hockey, baby.
I don't think I've ever actually lost sleep over any type of sport, whether it be football, whether it be hockey, whether it be the last time I probably lost sleep over a sport, and I'll use the term sport loosely, I guess, for this, but WrestleMania 39. But it wasn't for bad reason. It was more for like Cody Rhodes was expected to win that match. Cody Rhodes did not win that match. And it was kind of more like not being upset that Cody Rhodes lost, more like sitting there like, so what the hell is next in this storyline? Like, we thought we had this figured out. That was probably the last time that I actually stayed up thinking about it. But wrestling is a sport that involves you thinking about it. So, makes sense. The fact that I'm having thoughts about the Islanders now, that one, are comparing them to the WWE, and two, are still the same thoughts I've been having about this team for minimum 3 years now.
Yeah.
Is absolutely bananas. I do not appreciate backwards accountability. Saturday, Ranger legend Julian Gauthier was put in the lineup.
Yes, he was.
Okay. That was his first game of the season. Nobody asked you. It was his first game of the season for the Islanders, right?
Yep.
It was his only game of the season. They sent him to Bridgeport 17 hours later. Here's my problem with that. Patrick Roy, doing the responsible coach thing, I'll give him that, says he hasn't liked what he's been seeing. He needs to see more. He needs to go to Bridgeport. That's a good answer. Two problems. One, it was his first game. He played 7 minutes. Two, we are in year 5 of the Oliver Wahlstrom experiment. And he's still getting ice time every game. Why is Wahlstrom not going to Bridgeport? Why is Holmstrom not going to Bridgeport? You have kids in Bridgeport semi-ready to go. You have Matt Maggio sitting down in the pipeline. You have William Dufour sitting down in the pipeline. The fact that this team basically let Robin Salo fade off into the sunset a year ago and decided to give Scott Mayfield, which to his credit, he's having a much better season this year, probably because he's not trying to play on crutches, a contract. We are so beyond screwed with trying to make any moves to help this team. The only moves you can make right now are moves that are going to hurt this team.
Yep.
You have no money. You have no contracts that are considered, dare I say, attractive.
Yeah.
If I'm a general manager of a team and I'm getting a phone call and basically being asked, hey, do you want to spend $6 million on Adam Pelech? No.
You're going to laugh.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
But guess what? Even if I called another team to ask them if they wanted to spend that much money on Adam Pelech, I can't trade him anyway. No movement clauses, no trade clauses, modified trade clauses are basically the definition of this team now. Now,
yeah,
I understand a lot of teams have them. Don't get me wrong. You know it.
Of course, yeah.
I know it. A lot of teams have it. It's part of the game. I understand there's nothing we can do about it. It is It's a negotiation point. It's a leverage thing, whatever you want to call it. I get it. But what I don't care. Okay, you know what? You want to give Scott Mayfield a 7-year contract? Go for it. You know, like whatever. Who am I, right? Give him his contract. You want to give you want to give Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri and all these guys, cool. Why on God's green earth are we handing out full no movements? Matt Barzal, no trade, full no movement. Bo Horvat, full no movement. Andrews Lee has a full no movement for 1 more year.
Yeah.
Pelican Pollock, full no movements. Scott Mayfield, full no movement. Sorokin, full no movement, which is totally fine. Pierre Engvall got a modified no trade clause.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, how about this? It's easier to trade clauses than who does. Cizikas doesn't. Wallstrom doesn't. Siplikov doesn't. Holmstrom doesn't. Liam Foti doesn't. Kyle McLean doesn't. Noah Dobson doesn't. Romanov doesn't. Mike Riley doesn't. That's it.
Yeah, you guys are stuck.
It is the same old. It is the same old garbage with this team every year. Not being able to hold a lead. Blowing leads late in games. The third period goal in the last 2 minutes that kills us every time.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
been saying for years that they need to rebuild, and they're just not. That's what they need to do. You guys are what, 3 years removed from a meaningful playoff run? 4 years? 3 years? When did you lose to Tampa Bay?
This season will be 4 years at the end of the season.
Yeah, okay.
So, because we lost to Carolina back-to-back years.
And then you didn't make it before that.
Playoffs. And then the year before that was our last East Finals run.
Yeah, okay.
So, here's my thing. Barzal. Bo Horvat. Right?
Yep.
Duclair. Dobson. Romanov. And Sorokin. Anybody on that roster outside of those 6 names is free game.
Honestly, I think Barzal is too.
You think he's free game?
I would 100% consider trading him. It's been how you talk about. It's been 5 years for Oliver Wallstrom. It's been this. I mean, Barzal is a good hockey player, but it's been how many years of trying to have him be the guy? And he's not. He's very good. He's really good. He's just not the guy.
My thing with Barzal is I know he's not going to be the 40-goal, 100-point guy here. I understand that. To an extent, I'm not okay with obviously bringing mediocrity to the table, nothing more.
Yep.
But I'm okay with you get what I'm trying to say. Like I think he brings listen. There's a problem that comes with who is Connor Bedard, right? His
Yeah.
word doesn't really mean anything in the league yet. He hasn't really – listen, there's the first overall pick hype. Obviously, we know he's going to be one of the – he's going to be part of that next generation of hockey players ushered in.
Yep.
But when you have guys like him, guys like McDavid, guys like Crosby, all turning around and saying, yeah, that's a guy I want to play with.
Yep.
Like, I would love to have him on my line. If you're the Islanders, you are so screwed when people are turning around and saying that. Because if you have a guy on your roster that everybody wants to play with,
yeah,
and you go and trade him, everybody who may or may not have wanted to play with him is now completely not coming to your team.
True.
I do think the business end of sports gets overlooked quite a bit sometimes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Barzal, even if he's a 70-point player with 20 goals and 55 assists, he is making you a boatload in the shirts and jerseys and merchandise department.
Of course, but you know what? That could be replaced. That's replaceable. You can get someone else to do that.
It's replaceable, no doubt.
Do you know how many times Barzal's broken 70 points? Twice.
Yeah, twice. Probably. Let me guess. His rookie year and probably 2 years ago, last year.
His rookie year and last year. Between 2017, 2018, and 23, 24, his highest point mark was 62. And even that, he only broke 60 twice. It's just not worth it. You have Bo Horvat, who, as much as he seems like a scorer on the Islanders, because no one else scores, he's not. He's just a better Barzal. And a year and a half older Barzal.
I have a lot more faith in Bo Horvat than I do in Barzal in the scoring department, only because, straightforward, one, other than Brock Nelson, Bo Horvat's been your 30-goal scorer since he got here.
Yep.
So guys I know I'm going to get my 30 goals out of Bo Horvat. I'm not worried about him. In a weird kind of way, to get him for a first-round pick and a prospect, when he had 40 goals in January, you could argue that was probably a bargain for what he was putting up at the time.
Yep.
And when hindsight being 2020, also the prospects you sent over was a projected first overall pick at one point, fell to the second round, and now is barely cracking the NHL. I will take that every day. For me, Barzal I feel like he gets hit with the, and I'm going somewhere with this, bear with me, but I feel like he gets hit with the Daniel Jones effect.
Okay.
Listen, obviously, Matt Barzal is a way better hockey player than Daniel Jones will ever be a football player.
Yeah.
That's not up for debate.
Not even close.
But when I compare the two, because I will admit, up until last year, I was a Daniel Jones defender.
Okay.
Daniel Jones in 6 years or 7 years, he's had 4 head coaches, 4 or 5 different OCs, 3 different quarterback coaches, and he gets pretty much almost a different receiver room every season.
Yeah.
Matt Barzal, pretty much since Bo Horvat has been here, or since before Bo Horvat got here, he never had a consistent winger, or never had 2 consistent wings with him, rather. I'm not going to say that it's excusable, because it's not excusable. I learned that lesson with Jones. But I also feel like he hasn't been gifted an opportunity, so to speak, where, let's say, for example, Sidney Crosby clicks with Brian Rust, and whoever you throw on the other wing is irrelevant. I don't think he's gotten that Ovechkin Backstrom connection, or name 100 other ones. You can name McDavid and Evan Bouchard. Sure, throw a defenseman in there. I think playing musical lineup and not having something steady with playing with Barzal, obviously it shows. It has definitely made his career take a beating.
Yeah.
So, as much as I think, listen, all in all, nobody's untradeable. You can make you make trades happen when you need to make them happen. The reason I put Barzal in there, truth be told, is really because that contract's probably not an easy one to trade.
True.
And he's got 6 years left on that deal, or he's in the second year of that contract. You trade this contract and you end up having to eat half of it, you are screwed.
I'm sorry. Starting this year, he's earning $9.1 million.
Starting last year.
That's disgusting.
We know.
Oh wow. Okay. Sure.
Let me ask you something. Are you surprised this is the same team paying? This is the same team paying JG Pajot $5 million.
I honestly I'm speechless about that contract. That dude, Mikko Rantanen makes $9 million.
We know.
I know. I'm sorry, but hey, listen. Speaking of high price contracts,
we're not happy about it.
You guys are in need. You got free agents next year. I know there's a free agent next year. It's the perfect fit. The perfect fit. He's been here before. Mr. John Tavares. I think you give him a shot.
This is a one-man show from now on. I've never heard of such a ludicrous idea in my life. I got to tell you, it's funny you say that because I was talking to my godfather on the phone the other day.
Oh, boy.
And he was like, you know how funny it would be if the Islanders brought him back on a 2-year deal?
Oh, my God. Dude,
I said to him, I was like, you understand the Islanders, right? He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, that's exactly what's coming. It's going to happen. It's such an Islander thing to do.
Dude, he would need police detail going in and out of UBS Arena.
The problem is obviously one, he would get crucified every game. He doesn't do anything. Granted, Tavares is, I'm assuming you have it up on your computer. I'm assuming Tavares, he scored 30 goals last year, right?
I can tell you in 2 seconds. I don't know if he did, to be honest. He's been kind of bad. Last year, he scored 29.
Okay, so basically 30.
Yeah, he did. And 65 points. 65. He went 29, 36, 65.
And let me guess, he's drafted in 2009, so he's probably about 35 now?
He is just turned 34.
34. So those numbers from a 34-year-old, yeah, I think I would safely give that a 2-year contract.
Not the price he's going to ask.
Well, so actually, let's actually play musical player, I guess. It's very obvious Toronto's not keeping him around.
No way.
Him and Marner are probably both out. I think they're going to have to viciously overpay Marner to keep him, and I'm pretty sure Marner's another one who's basically indirectly said, "I'm out of here."
I mean, he already makes $11 million a year.
Right. How much more you're going to pay him, I don't know, because you know who's watching that contract the most? Edmonton.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you want to get technical, is it this year or next year is the McDavid contract year? Pretty sure it's next year.
I think that's next year.
Because I remember Draisaitl was expiring right before him.
Yeah, next year.
I'm looking now.
And he makes 12.5, so he's going to get like $42 million a year.
Listen, he's going to get a stupid amount of money. The one thing I'm looking for is the summer.
You know what's Artemi Panarin is also next year. Ugh.
I
said that, and my wife looked at me and she got all scared. He's going to stay. It's just going to cost a lot of money.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that one.
He'll be 35.
It's just smart. Listen, you know what? I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. I can't control myself. Listen, I'm just saying. You might want to consider not keeping him around.
All right, apparently he's in his prime right now, so I don't know, man. His age 33 season was the best year of his life.
Don't make the same mistakes the Islanders make.
Well, listen, I'm not talking about giving him a 5-year deal. At 35, we can give him like a 3-year deal.
No, you hot dog. That's not what I'm talking about. You ever hear the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Of course.
Okay, great. Now, have you ever heard that the legal definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result?
Sure.
Yeah. Lou never got that memo.
Well, that guy. I have words about that guy, but I'll hold them.
Believe me, whatever words you have are the same words that I have. They're just still up here for now.
Also, I have to comment, the 2026 free agent class is absolutely insane. Like, just on the front page of this is Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Jack Eichel, Cale Makar, Kirill Kaprizov, and Robo.
Robo was going to free agency already? I
thought they had his
entry. Yeah, no, I thought they had RFA right. No. For like 100 years.
No, this is he? He's like, this is only his 3rd or 4th season.
Wow.
Jason Robertson he just turned 25.
Damn. Because you're an RFA till you're 26. That's why I ask.
Yeah.
But damn. I don't know, time flies when your hockey team sucks, I guess. Listen, the Islanders, and by the way, while we were on, I got a notification regarding our good friend Anthony Duclair.
Okay.
And he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh. Well, you're going to score even less now. I don't know how you go less than 0, but you'll find a way. Hey, you know I'm right.
I know you're right. Listen. I've been so aggravated about that one Detroit game. I haven't even spoken about the other ones. Okay, the Montreal game, not terrible. Of course, let up a goal with less than 2 minutes left in the game. Had to go to a shootout for that one.
Yeah.
The Blues game, I really can't blame Sorokin for either. He got beat on a pretty wild tip on its way to the net.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that. Like that would have fooled any goalie in the league that's maybe not named me. I don't know. Listen, the fact that Holmstrom and Wallstrom still get to see NHL ice time, and Julian Gauthier got sent down after one game because they, quote, needed to see more from him.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. I like Pajot. I don't like him as like my super duper favorite player in the world, but he still wins faceoffs. He's still willing to get physical and play the game in a gritty fashion. I'm pretty sure he uses wet spaghetti noodles for hockey sticks. Well, because have you ever seen him take a shot?
No, I haven't like really looked at it.
It moves at about the same speed as a routine ground ball from the shortstop to the first baseman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very easy for the camera to track if they know what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Casey Cizikas, Kyle McLean. You know what you're getting out of those guys.
Yeah.
They're just going to hit people and keep the puck deep. And they've done a pretty good job of it all season. I'm not going to knock them. I'm not going to give them any hard time. I guess you can kind of say this cycles back to being aggravated with Holmstrom still getting roster time. Duclair goes out. You need someone to fill that first line spot. So your logic is to bring Holmstrom up all the way from the fourth line, put him on the first line, when you have Max Siplikov, who's been having a much better season. Now, granted, Siplikov's got 1 goal, 2 assists, I believe, or 1 goal, 1 assist through the first 6 games of the season. Mm-hmm. Not great, but at the same time, how much are you expecting from a kid who came from the KHL on a bigger ice surface and a different style of game this fast?
Very true.
Listen, if I get 50 to 60 total points out of him, I'm very happy this year.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not expecting that. I'm probably legitimate expectation. I'm expecting 40, and I think it's going to be like 20 and 20 goals, 20 assists.
Yeah,
because who the hell is he passing the puck to?
Yeah, that's very fair.
Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri should not be brought back to this team next season under any circumstances.
No way.
I love Brock Nelson, and I love Kyle Palmieri because you're going to get 30 goals out of both of them. But again, because remember, they were 2 of the Islanders' 4 30-goal scorers last year. The team had 4 30-goal scorers last year. They made it into a wild card. Again, it goes back to you cannot repeat the same thing twice and expect a different outcome. You need to bring in different pieces. You're getting to the point where you kind of need to bring in cheaper pieces. Brock Nelson has held this team on the hook for $6 million for the last 7 years. Yeah. Kyle Palmieri held this team on the hook for $5 million for 5 years. Now, don't get me wrong. If Nelson and Palmieri, just figuratively, because it'll never happen, but if they turn around and Nelson will take 3 and Palmieri will take 2.5, I'm still not doing it.
You have a conversation, but probably not.
Yeah, I'll entertain the conversation, and I'll kind of give you the if the other projects don't work out, we'll talk. But you again, when you have, I'm not going to say you have the best core in the world, but when you have Maggio in the pipeline, Dufour in the pipeline, you have Cole Eiserman in the pipeline, all kids who should be getting legitimate NHL chances within the next. For Maggio and Dufour, probably within the next year or two. Cole Eiserman, you probably have another 3 to 4 years before he's going to get a legitimate look.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He's a kid.
Yeah, true.
Unless he makes the jump to Bridgeport sooner rather than later, then you could see him probably faster after he adapts to the pro hockey game. The fact that Anders Lee is the captain of this team drives me absolutely berserk.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts too.
And the fact that he's doing it making $7 million does not help. Anders Lee should have never been named the captain of this team. Quite literally just for one reason. Because I don't think he's a bad captain. Bad player. Subject to a debate.
No, you don't have to be a good player to be a good captain. That's
right.
That's look at Jamie Benn.
Well, Radko Gudas has entered the chat.
Yeah, and I adore Jamie Benn, but his days have passed him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Jamie Benn was hot, like early 2010s, and like still buzzing.
The first 2 to 3 years, Dallas had Sagan when him and Sagan were both like 30. Oh.
Almost untouchable.
Yeah. But that is time, my friend. That's how it works.
The legitimate only reason that what's it called? The only legitimate reason that Anders Lee should never have made the captain is because you made him the captain going into a contract year. You gave him all the leverage in the sense of the Islanders had just lost the other guy.
Yeah.
They could not afford to lose captains 2 seasons in a row. You gave him all the leverage. Anders Lee is a $4 million player at best.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Listen, there's been problems. We all know the Islanders have problems. My biggest problem with them every year is that Brock Nelson is their leading goal scorer. For every year that Brock Nelson is the Islanders' leading goalkeeper, they will not go anywhere.
Right. No, I agree. Bo Horvat needs to be your leading goal scorer. Barzal needs to be leading the team in points.
Yes.
And honestly, if it turned out to be that I'll use Barzal. If Barzal wasn't leading the team in points, and in this situation it turned out to be Duclair, that's awesome too.
That's fine. Yeah.
But but the fact that I look at my 30 goal scorers last year, and it's Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, and somehow Anders Lee snuck in a goal at the end of the season to hit 30 on the money. It's like, great. Nelson and Palmieri have been my 30 goal scorers now for half a decade.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's turn. Brock Nelson has honestly become this generation's Tavares of the Islanders, leading this team in stats every season because he gets help from nobody else.
Yeah, they just need an alpha, man. I mean, like, yeah, the Islanders do pretty well of having a bunch of guys score a decent amount of points, but you don't have that one guy to go nuts. Like the Rangers have a bunch of guys that are going to score between 50 to 80 points, but then you have Artemi Panarin is going to drop 120. They don't have that guy.
Yeah, we have a bunch of guys who are going to put up 60 to 70 points. That's it.
Yeah, like Barzal as your leading point getter, which he was basically a point per game, but just realistically just under it. You got to have a point per game player.
I tell you what, I'm going to do this.
Ideally, multiple.
How about this? I'm gonna do this for you. You ready? Who was the last Islander to hit the 100-point mark in a season? Don't Google it. I hear you typing.
It wasn't Tavares, was it?
No.
How far back are we talking?
I'll tell you this.
We're talking 90s?
Or how far back are we talking, you say?
Yeah, we talking in the 90s or since the year 2000?
All right, I'll tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. There we go. All right. I don't know what the heck just happened. What year were you born?
94.
You there? 94?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't alive yet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can name a player from the 90s on the Islanders, to be honest.
Off the top of your head, probably not. Once I tell you who it is, you'll know the name.
Is he known for another team more than the Islanders?
He was part of a bit. He was part of another team. I'm not a fan of said team, so I wouldn't know how big he was with that team. But you could associate him with another team.
I have an idea. I have a name in my head.
It's not Pat LaFontaine.
No, I'm Pat LaFontaine.
Even though he did it.
Okay, it was this guy, Pierre Turgeon.
Yep, because you Googled it.
I thought of his name first. I wanted to double check before I answered.
And I'm pretty sure Turgeon was in that trade with Buffalo with LaFontaine. But
I wanted to make sure this guy actually played for the Islanders.
Oh, he very much so did. I think he was there the other night, actually. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Alexei Yashin was there Saturday.
That's a name I know.
Yeah, that's a name. That's a name that's almost killed this place.
And Mr. Michael Pekka working for the Rangers now?
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. Listen, I hate sports. And the Islanders and Lou Lamoriello make it much harder. I just need to see accountability be evenly distributed, not distributed amongst one person.
Yeah.
Like, listen, the one good thing I can say, listen, there's a lot of good things I can say from when Trotz was the coach here, but the one thing I can say, he was not afraid to bench Barzal and sit him if he made a mistake. He wasn't afraid to bench Brock Nelson if he made a mistake.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't care if you're the superstar. I don't care if you're the world's best goaltender. If you're having a bad night, you got to sit and you got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And other than this solo accountability thing that they're doing with Gauthier right now that I don't really like, I can't blame a lot of what's happening on Patrick Waugh.
No reason to.
He's being dealt a team that he obviously has no hands in building. The literal first fingerprint he's got on this team is Duclair.
Yeah.
It's his first and only fingerprint here.
I mean, how many times can you blame the coach before you start saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe the players are bad?
Yeah. And like at this, not even that too. It's just I can absolutely see not a fire sale per se, but I can absolutely see a very long summer of moves and trades and buyouts if this season doesn't work out for at least moving on in a playoff round, not just making the playoffs. That's not good enough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, so now that I've gotten that off my chest, this was fun.
Do you feel better now?
No, because I still got to wait for tomorrow for them to prove me wrong, and then I got to go deal with it in person on Saturday.
At least get to watch the Yankees.
It's funny. I'm looking through some of our material, and that live stream we were supposed to do for the Islander Colorado game.
Yeah,
I made that whole graphic thing about it, and we never used it, and I was really upset because it came out so good. So I'm just going to flash that now. Look at that! Look how good that came out.
Put it on MSG Networks.
Yeah, okay. And it came out so nice, and I didn't get to use it. 1-1. The simple times.
The simple times.
The simple times. Okay, so same time, same place Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Tyler Adele alongside Andrew Mikara. We cannot thank you enough for joining us for a much-needed therapy session. Don't forget, The Sauce is brought to you by Black Hats NYC and their new hit single, Signorina. It is out streaming loud on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, YouTube, and YouTube Music. Don't forget to drink your cookies and milk. Well, drink your milk, eat your cookies. And we will see you Tuesday.